Welcome everybody to the Whitaker Community Council March 8th meeting. It's our general meeting. It's going to be the first one. Well, technically this is our last meeting of the year. Elections will be the first meeting of the year. Tonight we will be basically just going over some steps of what we're going to do for the elections. The elections are definitely going to be hybrid, so they're going to be held in the in person. If you want to go in person, it'll be at the Eugene Mission. Otherwise, you're welcome to come online also. We're going to talk about what we did last year. I've got a couple of updates, and then also if anybody wants to be nominated, any nominations should happen today, but you can also wait until the day of the elections. A couple of updates that I have: the Emerald Shred Collective. We are sponsoring them now, fiscal sponsorship, and we've signed all their documents that they need. They signed the documents, also the contracts. They sent me a few grants that they're going after, and those have been signed. Andrew, I'll be sending them to you, or at least sharing them with you, so you, Andrea, will know about them. And then as far as the parks situation, there are 3 community members who are working together alongside with Kelly MacGyver from the city, and he got them in touch also with the outdoor space crew. So they're kind of working together, and they'll be emailing the new chair like any updates that they have about the parks. Also, Kelly MacGyver from the city and Eva Gray from Lane County and myself, I've kind of gotten them together to talk about the houseless situation and seeing if maybe the county and the city can work together on that situation. I've kind of taken a step back from it and gonna let them do what they do. They're very compassionate people, so hopefully they come up with some great ideas. Anand,
Hello.
go ahead.
So the Public Health and Safety Committee for the Whitaker Community Council. Things have been doing well enough. We hope to improve. In general, the idea is to try to keep as many people in their housing as possible. You may have heard that some programs that were in response to the pandemic, helping, trying to keep people in their housing, those programs have, for the most part, gone by the wayside. And so the Whitaker Community Council was able to get some grant money, started back when Ian was doing things, and there's been some continuation of that and some new grant money coming in. And just lately, there's been another one coming in. Was it $25,000 or $35,000?
25.
It was 25. So there are new grants coming in. We're doing the best we can to make sure that all gets out to as many members of the community as possible, to make sure that they get to stay in their housing as the rents continue to climb, and as unfortunately no new housing is being built. But we're doing our best to make sure that as many as possible can stay where they're currently at. The other problem we have, of course, is that Whitaker in particular has a long history of people having to use a very large percentage of their income to support their housing. I mean, the aim to stay in housing is to not be having to use more than about a third or 30% of your income for housing. And in Whitaker, it's generally speaking over 50% for more than half the people who live here. So it puts a lot of people at risk. So we're doing what we can with the grants and whatnot. A lot of it's coming from OHA. There's lately came this one, strangely enough, from a tobacco settlement. But nonetheless, it can be used for other things than that. So And we've also been in contact with the city and Cindy with oh, they keep changing. They've changed the name of that organization so many times it's hard to keep track of it. But they're giving us some good advice on what can be done from a local point of view. But I think you're right, Delinia, that for the most part, the health and human services issues are supposed to be county based. But at this point, I think we'll take pretty much anything we can get, whether it's from the state or the city or the county or whatever. And we're on top of that. Now, normally we have a public health and safety committee meeting the third Wednesday before the board meeting, but it's not going to happen this month because my wife and I are going on our anniversary vacation. So normally I would feel all guilty about that, but not this time. No, not this time. I think we're going to do okay, and I expect we can let it slide for 1 month. But we'll be back in usual things by April, and I'm looking forward to working with everybody, whether they've been around or they're new. It's our community. We're going to make it all work. So there.
Yeah, can I just chime in? I want to say
Please.
thanks, Anand, for all the work you and everyone else on the public health and safety committee have been doing. Because I don't think that most people know how much work goes into doing all this stuff. And I mean, there are a lot of people in this organization that put in a lot of time to make it happen. But I just wanted to, say publicly, like, thank you. The neighborhood and the community thanks you, and everybody else who's been putting work in. Like, part of the reason we keep getting these grants, just so everybody knows, is because we do such a good job at getting them out, and we do such a good job like doing the right thing with the money, that the state contacts us and says, do you guys want more money? We're sometimes not even, I mean, we're applying because everything you have to apply for, but they're asking us to apply. They're saying, we would really like to give you more money to continue your programs. And so it's because of the team of people here in our neighborhood. So thanks for doing all that.
Thank you. As the older I get, the more I realize we've got to help each other. They're just, when you're younger, you can think, I don't need to. It'll be okay. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, we really do have to help each other, and that's just all there is to it. And I'm honored and lucky enough to be in a place I can do it. So,
Would you
I love all you guys.
Would you happen to know how many people have been kind of saved in their home?
I think this last month it was like 11. I don't know what the total number is right this second.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll get that. I will make sure I get that number. That's a good question, and something that I think we need to get out into the public. I think we need to do that on a regular basis. So thank you for bringing that up. I'll make sure that happens.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I also want to thank you. I think you've been doing phenomenal work. I know a lot of people, there's also with trying to keep people safe in their homes, we have a lot of people applying who really don't need it. Right. And working through those has been pretty tough for everybody.
Yeah.
But thank you for everything. Jen, did you have something?
Yeah, going off of what you just said, do you happen to know or not if there's a lot of people applying that are under the fraud situation, more than applicants that are qualified?
I don't know the proportion of it, and I'm not sure I could really call it fraud per se. I would say that there are a lot of people who are applying who do not qualify, and I will leave it at that. But there's quite a few of them, and they're getting sorted out fairly well. So I don't think that there's much, if any, of them slipping through. But yeah, it's always going to happen when you have something like this happen. You're going to have a certain percentage of the people. I mean, there were just, what was it? The ones that they did nationally during the pandemic, they had members of Congress applying and go like, what? So anyway,
Yeah.
it happens, but it's not getting through. So we're good. And that's going to look really good for the record, and is another reason we'll probably get more grant money.
And then, does anybody have any questions about that? Awesome. So I kind of skipped over a little bit. I went straight into the updates. Sorry, my ink was kind of running out. I do want to give people the opportunity to, for public comment. Sue, I know that you had a public comment.
I do. There's an organization called the Arts and Business Alliance of Eugene, ABAE. Actually used to work for them years ago, and they're an alliance between businesses and artists. I don't know if people are familiar with this organization. It's connected to the Eugene City Council's, not City Council, Chamber of Commerce, I think. Anyway, they have, they've been active for a number of years, and they have an annual awards event that I think they did, I don't know how many years. They have categories for nominations of awards. And I was looking at the categories, thinking about it. I'm not a member of the group anymore, but I get the emails. I'm in their guide. And I began thinking of people, of businesses locally, and also of the Whitaker Community Art Team, although that team is, I'll say, in hiatus. And there's two categories, and I think like the Whitaker Community Art Team could be a nominee, and there's also a category of business. And I thought of a couple businesses in the Whitaker that I think should be nominated. The nomination process is not simply sending a name. There's a form to fill out, and I'd like to see if anybody would like to help with that, or is interested in doing it with a little bit of guidance from me. And so it was, there's recognition and there's money that come with those awards. And I looked at the previous awards and I thought, you know, like Old Nick's, they've done a lot of stuff in the arts. Hybrid Gallery. There are many organizations that have done a lot of advocating in the arts that are businesses that are in Whitaker. And so it was an idea that I had. I didn't feel like I wanted to, I didn't feel like I had the brain power to do it all on my own. And so
You just want to put it out there.
I'm putting it out there. The deadline is pretty soon, and I did email to Delenia a while ago, and then I've had a lot of things in my life, and I just was like, okay, today I had consciousness and enough space in my brain to say, oh right, the ABAE awards. I got another follow-up. Oh, don't forget about the awards. So I brought it to the council, and I thought, well, maybe somebody here would like to write it or be in touch with me. So I can do a couple of things I could put in the chat.
I put my email address also in there. So if anybody wants to contact Sue, I can get you her information to get together. And then somebody asked, what is the DebCat?
The Whitaker Community Art Team it's just not active, part of the council, an extension of the council. We had grants and we did the street murals. We did the reflections booth that's still at currently at Campbell Center. the free wall, and we also did other things connected, worked during the clinics. So there was a lot of activity during the more intense pandemic times. And the WCAT also happened way before that, but I wasn't involved before that. But we did a public art display, the window display in the very beginning of the pandemic. So we were really active, and then it just, so we haven't, last Friday art walk was part of what we were doing.
And then just to kind of put it out there also, the city reached out about the 2 murals that are on 2nd Avenue. And I don't think they were anticipating that the same street foundation. So those kind of like melted off and are gone again. So they're probably going to be redone. So the city of Eugene cast, she's going to reach out at some point in time, probably in the spring, to like get those redone, but they have to kind of like go talk to Portland City Works, because the City Works people are the ones who kind of guided them on how to do the murals. But I don't think, because that's more
There
of a
was something with the foundation.
well, the surface on 2nd Avenue is more like just cement and not the tar. So the way they did the murals on the other streets, it was okay, but this new one, it seems like they just needed to do it in a different paint or.
Oh, the murals. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I was thinking of the free wall. Yeah, the murals are not holding.
Yeah. I mean, the other murals are, but those 2 specifically are like almost gone because they get a lot of traffic too. But that's okay. It gives our artists more time. Honestly, one of my visions, and one of the only reasons I even started at the Whitaker Community Council was because I want to see street murals everywhere in the Whitaker. And I was sitting at Old Nick's one day asking somebody, hey, why don't we do like crosswalks with like Whitaker style, artist stuff? And they're like, you'll never get that done. So that is one thing I have to give to Ian, that he ingeniously made it happen for all of us. Yeah, he got the money to do it.
He
so.
got the money. He figured out how to use CDC money.
Yeah.
And the free wall, it has new art on it.
Yeah.
I just was by there today. There's like a dog head on it.
The free wall, yeah, they have been really, really doing a great job. I've been kind of following it. I almost wanted to make like its own little, group on Facebook or something. I don't know, to see.
Yeah, I took pictures the other day, but I haven't posted them.
They're phenomenal. I mean, some of the artists who have gone there and done stuff, I'm just like, yeah.
There's interesting pieces up now. They're odd to me, but everybody's got their own taste.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what WCAT was. It's nothing's happening right now. And I was part of that team, but the thing from the Arts and Business Alliance, that's from that I'm connected to them from my work as an artist and consultant for many years into the past. And I'm on their mailing list. And I thought, oh, Whitaker needs to be represented here. So
thank you. That was awesome.
I'll put it in the chat. I'll put the site in the chat if I can find it.
Okay, thank you, Susan.
Okay.
Did anybody else need public comment? No, we're good to go. Awesome. All right, so for last year's elections, Andrew, you had created kind of like a sheet for the online, and I wasn't at the elections in person, so I'm not quite sure. I don't think any of us here were at the elections in person, but I just assume, I I talked to Cheryl from the mission, and she said that really all they did was a piece of paper and a pen and write the name down, yes or no. So I kind of figured we'd just go with that this year.
As the person who did the online facilitation last year, I have no clue what happened in person.
Okay, yeah.
But last year was pretty successful. We used Google Forms, which relied on a little bit of trust with the people at the meeting, to, for people who didn't have the right to vote because they don't live in the neighborhood, to not vote, and we didn't have any problems with that. And so that was really successful, and I think we'll try that again this year, and hopefully we don't get any pranksters, because we'll have to pivot, but for us last year, and I'm happy to facilitate that again this year.
Okay. And then for the online document, I know we had an issue last year, and then we had to kind of switch things up.
Yeah, we had tried to use like an invite only version of Google Forms, but it went to a lot of people's spam, and it difficult to collect everyone's email address. And so I'm reluctant to like say this on a YouTube video, like everybody come back next month, we're going to post a link to the poll, but that's what we're going to do. We're just going to provide the link, and as long as the number of eligible voters online matches the number of votes we receive, we know that people who weren't eligible didn't vote, or somehow people who were eligible and said they were voting didn't vote, but the same number of people who were not eligible did vote, seems unlikely. So it's pretty low tech, but it works. And then we combined those with the in-person pieces of paper, and we did an election.
Awesome.
So we'll just do it the same this year.
Okay. And then the other question is, I know you said that you won't be able to make it we have a test in April 5th, I believe it was. Let me just look at the calendar real quick, where we can do a hybrid meeting.
That is the date, because I can't make it.
Okay. So on the 5th, we do have one, but I think that as long as you have the form figured out and all that stuff, Jen and I can test the system. I'm sorry, Jen, would you test the system with me on April 5th? Or and a nod? I was really hoping like maybe it would be just a few minutes. I would go to the site and do it from the site, and then you guys would do the online portion.
Sure.
Is that okay?
I'll do what I can.
Yeah, awesome. And then as far as just something that I kind of want to remind, I know there's not a lot of people here, but I do want to remind everybody of our charter. A lot of things that we did last year and the year before were more grant-based and at a board level and mostly at committee levels. I just want people to know that in Article 11, Section 1, the assembled membership attending the general meeting shall be the overall policy-making body, meaning that we as community members have the power, and we have the power to ask for the boards to do what we need done in the neighborhood, especially now that the neighborhood's starting to get a little bit more money from the grants. Bring your good ideas, bring your half-baked ideas. We'll never know. Maybe we can get some stuff, some more things done. It's been a crazy ride. I'm not going to run next year. This is my last year as a board member. I did start as a community member and then just worked my way into being the treasurer. My time as a treasurer was really spent on trying to help make a foundation for the community because there's so many good people wanting to do good work here. And last year as chair, I wanted to finish that up, you know, make sure that their website was working and that they had the right professionals as far as like bookkeeping, and especially when there's a lot of money coming in, just to make sure that the neighborhood stays engaged and we help each other. One of the things that we do need is help as far as if there's any volunteers to just come and help us at the elections to maybe just, you know, check in names or something like that. Totally understand if nobody wants to do it in person. I do know that a lot of community members have been sending emails and stating online that they do want to get together in person. Remember that it is a community decision. The chair does call the meetings and does a lot more. I'm not gonna say they don't do a lot more, but there's a lot behind the scenes. But just getting involved and sitting in on meetings, or even going down to the committee levels where you're passionate about something, that's always a great way to start. Does anybody want to volunteer to be at the elections themselves in person? That is the one thing. You guys can email us if we need to. Again, I think I put my email address in there to have anybody come to the elections. As far as, I think that's really all I have. Holy cow, this is really quick. I guess we could start and talk about nominations. Hold on. Sorry, I got my little heater on. It's like killing me. So nominations, as far as the chair, if you're looking to become the chair, I kind of did like a little video last week, or I believe last month, where it just talks about some of the things that you'll need. The transition was not as quickly as we thought it would be. So as soon as the chair, well, when the executive board is decided, the next step is to immediately send our attorney and like the minutes of who the new chair and who the new execs will be. What that does is they will update the state, and then once the state updates their website of who the new committee is, then they go and to the banks, and then that's when we can change everything over. I know that when I came into the chair, Ian left as much information as he possibly could, and I'm trying to do the same thing. I know he did not have time to create a continuity binder, and I'm doing the best I can to create one for the new chair. Just kind of like good little websites to have information. This year, I think I did a really poor job in facilitating and moderating the meetings. I have had some wonderful help from a few people, but when they couldn't make it, I definitely struggled. Was not good at the Robert rules, but that's okay. Like, for me, I'm mostly proud of that we just got to finish a lot of the foundation work that we started. I know I'm going to be around at least until June. And then Andrew, right now, he's kind of working with in the treasurer's position, but he himself has been working on a little bit of cleanup of the grants, and he's gonna, once he transitions out, I believe, Andrew, I don't want to speak for you, but you said you'll be sticking around for a little bit to help out.
Sorry, I'm trying to finish dinner.
Oh,
Working
sorry.
late. You're good. Yeah, so I'm not gonna run for treasurer again. Really happy to help transition somebody into that role, because there are some, I would call them non-traditional treasurer things. We're still working with the state to close out some grants. I'm hoping to get as much of that done as possible, but you heard Anand talk about how we have more grants coming in. We are working towards a model where it's not the treasurer's job to do all the grant reporting, and it's not, I'm not doing all of the grant reporting, but there are some things that it's not like the contractors we have on, it's not their role to deal with some of the stuff that's left. And so I've been dealing with that. It should be mostly cleaned up, not committing to 100%. And I'm really happy to help transition someone into that role. I'm leaving it, I think, better than I found it, which is always my goal. There's definitely still a little bit of work to do, but not a lot, on getting us closed out with some of these grants. If anyone's dealt with grants that are federal money through state agencies, it can take a while to get all of your reporting just right and get all of your I's dotted and your T's crossed. And we're small, we're volunteer mostly, and we don't get it right the first time, the second time, or sometimes the third time, but we're gonna get it right. And we'll get that stuff cleaned up. But yeah, I don't know exactly, I'm not going anywhere. I just, for personal reasons, can't continue on as the treasurer.
And then earlier this year, we had lost our vice chair. Well, he was inactive, not lost. He became inactive early on due to health reasons and other reasons. So the vice chair is probably a great place to learn also. The secretary's job, I would say, is probably the most like the hardest portion of all the different ones, because there is a lot of you would have to do the newsletters, which goes out quarterly. They're the ones who take minutes, so if you're really good at minutes, this year we weren't able to figure out, because I know that there is a function on the Zoom where it can take transcripts, but the files were too huge on, for my, I got a little tiny laptop, so it didn't work out for me as well as we tried. But yeah, the secretary, I believe, well, all positions, even if you just want to be on the board, that would be awesome too. Does anybody have any questions? And then also, I do want to open it up for nominations. If anybody wanted to nominate or nominate themselves, that's totally up to you guys. There is like a video, and then I also try to put some stuff on Facebook, but I'm not really good with social media. So Facebook and Instagram, I tried to put a couple of things up, and I believe it was like a couple of fails. But yeah, if we can get some help there, that would be awesome. If not, there's a lot of great things that are going on this summer. I'm sure that WCAT, they're in hiatus, but they usually, get a lot of great artwork out, helping recognize some of those artists, where it's really cool. And I think we were trying to have, besides the Public Health and Safety Committee, that's where the majority of the housing grant is done. And then we also tried to start up a transportation committee, which we started it this year, but I believe it kind of like fell to the wayside for a couple of reasons. But if anybody is concerned with traffic and things like that, that would, we also do have a committee for that you can get involved, because traffic here is, I'm not sure if everybody knows, but I believe in the last like 3 months, there has been a lot of pedestrians being hit, a lot of cars being crashed, and it's right here in the Whitaker. I believe just within like 2 weeks, there was like 3 different pedestrians that were hit. So we try to put maybe not pressure on the city, but definitely, you know, we found this year that bringing solutions, not just saying, hey, we've got a problem, has really worked. We tell them, oh, you don't have an idea. Well, here's a couple of ideas that you can try. And the one thing that is really awesome about where we live is that the city, the county, anything that I've presented to any of them, they are trying to do the best they can, and they are very responsive. The same thing, I kind of want to throw a shout out to Chief Skinner. He does come to our meetings. He is very concerned, very, very progressive policing. It's hopefully we're getting more and more police officers. I think, you know, that might help. But that's more on the side of they almost have a compassionate way of policing, is what I found. Cahoots is sometimes comes in also. There's other places. With Lane County, I did make a suggestion to them and got them hooked up with a organization that is a mobile doctor center, kind of where they go out and they'll even go to people's homes and things like that. So I believe they're going to be using those vans to hopefully help. They were talking about getting started a resource center that's on wheels. So they would go out to the people to help them sign up for services. So yeah, and me, I just figured out our governor's email, and I've just been kind of CCing her on all the emails like, hey, here's some good ideas. So hopefully that might stick to something too. Who knows? Gotta try, right? And yeah, I think that's all I have. Does anybody have anything else? Oh, this was a great short meeting today. I love it.
To introduce myself, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
My name's Annie. I'm a grad student in the Community and Regional Planning Department at the University of Oregon, and I study affordable housing and transportation alternatives. And I just like being in the WIT. I would love to be more involved. I found out about this through the mailer that y'all just sent out. But I'm in my first meeting. I don't think I'll be running for anything, but I'd love to be involved in maybe that transportation committee and getting that back off the ground.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Keep showing up.
Yeah. And that was, like I said, that was kind of my passion. I'm stepping back because I've been, you know, I've had quite a few years of this, and it's been really intense, especially because of the pandemic. But that doesn't mean I'm stepping away from, you know, being on the community council. And by you just showing up, you are on the council. And just know, like, now you're on the council. There's no going back now. But yeah. And then iPhone, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Barbie Walker, and I'm one of the Ward 7 candidates for Eugene City Council. And so I thought I'd start seeing faces to names that I've seen, and some familiar and some I'm getting to know. I've only lived in Ward 7 about 2 years now, but I've lived in Eugene for over 25, all sorts of wards, and went to school here. So I just wanted to hear people and see and meet and say hi, get to know you. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And then Saoirse, we kind of finished up really quick this meeting. We didn't have a lot of people here, but that's okay. Annie, yes, take the WCC email, and if you want to email me, maybe we could come up with something. It'll probably be for me closer to the summer, because I do want to help the new chair kind of transition into their position. But yeah, I'm kind of excited about all of what you said too. So that'd be awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And then I guess that's all we have, unless Jen, do you have any updates? Well, I do want to throw out a shout out to Jen Hoover. It was her diligence with the city, because half of the Whitaker was not being represented. It was kind of cutting off on the 109, and it was cutting off a lot of our territories. And Jen was the one who got with the survey people and got the city to update their information. We were missing 432 addresses from our total number. Besides the fact that we get a little bit more money every time we have an address from the city, that also, half of our, well, not half, but a good, 1/3 of it are the people who lived in the Whitaker had no idea what was going on. And that's kind of why we made a pretty big newsletter. We had a lot of information to put out there. And hopefully we can get some more stuff done. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming, and it was a wonderful meeting, and hopefully we'll see you guys at the next meeting, the election. Take a look at our charter and our website. Our website has a lot of information, and then we'll see you next month. Thank you, guys.